Parents of Reddit, what was the worst thing you got caught doing by your children? My wife and I during one of our rare copulations were doing it on the couch. I had like a 30 seconds orgasm that was loud and proud. The stairs to our house have a landing where you look around the wall and see the whole living room. After my unusually and exceedingly long orgasm, I hear my 6-year-old's voice emanating from the stairs asking, "Daddy, why are you laying on mommy going oh oh oh?" Ooh. I stubbed my toe and it hurt so much I fell over on mommy. Go to bed, and he did. I'm pretty sure he'll put it together when he's old enough. Ow. I stubbed my toe and accidentally undressed your mom, and then I fell over and my dick fell into your mom. Not my personal story, but I have a friend who when she was about 10 or so walked in on her parents going at it. Rightly horrified, she ran downstairs to the basement and promptly walked in on her older sister and some guy going at it too. She says that she didn't talk to any of them for a week. Poor kid. When my daughter was in elementary school, she needed a jump drive for something. I gave her one that I knew was okay. The day that she needed it, she tried it and there was some kind of a problem with it, so I grabbed another one to give to her. You probably already guessed it. There was that folder on there from when I was tossing away an old backup hard drive. She must have opened it up. She did not tell me about it until she was about 19. All I could do was say whoops. For a second, I thought you meant she was doing a presentation on the perils of artificial intelligence. I talk alone all the time. My children are under 2. Soon, they'll realize their mom likes to discuss with herself. Oh well. Your children are under 2. They're perfect for this, as you can just talk to them instead. Same result, and now you can do it in public. I was changing my daughter when she was a toddler, who was about 14 months old, and the little monkey was wriggling around trying to escape. She almost fell off the change table, and I said shit. There was a few seconds of silence which was broken by her little voice saying shit perfectly. Uh-oh. I was sure that she'd start saying that all of the time because I laughed when she said it. She didn't say it again, though. Changing the kid's nappy was like trying to put clothes on a cat. Luckily toddlers don't have claws and she wasn't a biter. I was in the kitchen doing something and I blurted out "son of a," but trailed off before finishing the sentence. My 6-yo shots from the living room, bitch. 6-year-olds are good for that. An ice pack fell out of the freezer and rocketed off the fridge into my ankle. I yelled OWWW and my angelic 6-year-old daughter yelled fuck. With a great big smile on her face. I worry that she'll have a sailor mouth. This is the same child who, as a toddler, pronounced cotton balls as cock and balls. Cotton ball torture. My 5-year-old who was supposed to be sleeping decided to barge into our room while I was on top of my significant other. I was already yelling no, no, no while the door was opening, so he only got a glimpse while touring around to shut the door. I threw some clothes on and followed him out to tuck him back into bed. He asked me what I was doing in top of Dad, so me being my quick-thinking self, told my son that I was cracking Dad's back. LOL. Son says, "Oh, like Dr. Kevin? My chiropractor." I said exactly like that. Hopefully that's not how Dr. Kevin cracks backs. 15 years later, kid visits the chiropractor. So when should I take off all my clothes so the doctor can climb on top of me? It could actually be true though. I remember back in elementary school this kid said he went for a checkup. He told me he took off all his clothes and touched him there. Your comment randomly made me remember, and the kid was probs being raped. For years I thought all doctors did this. Eating chocolate without sharing. So one day I was cleaning up, and I come across an open packet of M&Ms. I ate a few, naturally, and then put the rest of the packet in the kitchen where they belong. Next thing I know, my daughter is glaring daggers at me, asking if I ate her M&Ms. Of course I told the truth and said, I don't know. She haughtily informed me that earlier in the day there had been 29 M&Ms in the pack and now there were only 17, and she could never trust me again. I was like, you seriously count your M&Ms? Lord have mercy. I eat a few. Eats 12 whole M&Ms, greedy. Not actually bad, but my wife had wanted to rearrange our bedroom closet for a long time but just couldn't find the time with our, at the time, 2-year-old son constantly underfoot. She was out of the house one afternoon, so I decided to surprise her by taking out all the clothes and putting them back the way she wanted. My son was watching and saw me drape her mini skirts and dresses over my arms and shoulders so I could move them out efficiently. My wife came home and when she asked him what we'd been up to, he casually said, "Papa was wearing your clothes." My wife shot me a weird glance and I gave her that "I'll explain later" hand gesture that's part of the nonverbal communication every couple develops after many years together. I'm over a foot taller than her and close to 2.5 times her weight, so I'm sure the mental image that flashed in her head was very confusing. Edit, and by confusing, I mean traumatizing. When my son was about 7 or 8, me and the wife were getting it on in the early hours of the morning. My wife said she locked our bedroom door, and to this day she would swear that she did. We were being very quiet, but he walked into our room so quietly we didn't hear him. All of a sudden I hear my wife say, "Jake?" I turned my head and there he was, just standing next to the bed with a very confused look on his face. "I think your son is Nightwalker 44. He explains how he got into your room while you were boning." Few comments up. Having a depression nap/sob in bed. I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I wish she hadn't seen. At least until she was old enough to understand. Seeing mom or dad being human, falling and failing, or breaking down are wonderful lessons. It teaches them they don't have to be perfect either. It teaches them empathy and love. When your child is old enough, it will click and they will appreciate you all the more. Stay strong. Edit, thanks for all the love. Much appreciated, heart. Note, this is in general terms. There are many possible variations that may affect you differently. I still remember walking into the kitchen as an 8-year-old and seeing my mom sitting on the floor crying. Still breaks my heart 20 years later. She'll always be a superhero to me, and seeing her being human reminds me that we're all just trying to figure out this life. Back in time, people recorded TV shows on VHS tapes. My uncle brought us a documentary about wild animals in Africa. It was a Sunday night. All family gathered. Me, 10 years old, my sister, 5, my parents and my grandparents, i.e. my uncle's parents, were sitting on the couch to see it. Let's just say that what we saw was wild, very wild. As soon as he realized that it was his porn tape, he desperately tried to shut it down, pressing all the buttons on the remote. Having failed, he stood up and pressed our old TV buttons, failing to change the channel and increasing the sound in process. So I was laughing, my sister wasn't understanding anything, my grandma was covering his eyes, Grandpa was paralyzed in shock, Mom and Dad also trying to help my poor uncle. In the end, someone managed to eject the tape. It all happened in like 5 seconds, but I'm sure for my uncle it lasted a lot more than that. Edit, thanks for the award, kind stranger. I'm not a parent, but when I was 15 I caught my parents snorting coke with their friend in my little brother's room. They told me it was powdered sugar, BC it was on a plate. They thought that was rational. I still can't believe their nerve. They've recovered since then, and our relationship is way better now. As an adult, I try to cut them some slack. Parenting is hard already, and when you're a struggling addict it is even more so. But as a teen I hated them, not only for the addiction, but also for insulting my intelligence like they did. Still something I think about that I need to let go. Gotta understand them. If I had a 15-year/old son catching me snorting coke off a plate, I would not tell him we were just snorting coke off this plate, go back to bed. Anal. Vocal, uncovered by the sheets, doggy-style anal. The worst part is that 3-year-olds can be pretty insistent when asking what "fuck my ass, baby" means. When you tell them it's something only grown-ups can say and that you'll tell them what it actually means when they're older, they will turn right around and ask grandpa, their daycare teacher and every other adult they encounter without your supervision. Which is probably to be expected. But what you don't think about is the fact that the 3-year-old will explain what he saw to each of those adults and that each and every one of them will fully understand what the kid witnessed and will have opinions about it that they feel the need to share with you. Edit, for anyone interested, the grandpa in question was my father-in-law. So while I may have been a bit flippant with his concerns, see below, I have some sympathy for the man, who had to at least briefly picture his little princess getting duked up the poop chute. Honestly, the worst thing, the biggest crime, that has always led to a shit ton of grief, is when I try to sneak a bite anything for myself. There's one cookie left, and it's the middle of the night, with the kids in bed. I try to quietly and stealthily chew, then from the corner of my eye, I'll spot one of the demon spawn, causally lurking. Then before I can even clear my mouth, they sound the alarm and suddenly everyone is up. Mom has cookies. Cookies? Mom's getting US cookies. Repeat process for every candy and chip I try to eat regardless of where I hide. TT. Edit, so apparently I can't publicly thank and show appreciation for awards given without being harassed. Sorry that I was raised to show appreciation for kindness shown. If you can't handle my genuinely being happy and thankful, then that's your problem and you need to get a life if yours is so boring that you have nothing better to do than target people for that. Not me but a friend of mine. He self-medicated with alcohol and drank around his kids almost constantly. One occasion he was angry about something one of the kids did. His youngest daughter went to the fridge and handed him a beer and told him he needed to calm down. He hasn't had a drop since. Damn. It's a good thing that scared the drink out of him. If that didn't do it, I don't think anything would have. Subscribe for more amazing stories. I said subscribe now. Otherwise this will open the door and eat you when you are asleep.